My name is Cole Mercer. Every morning, right at 5 a.m., I rise to the stillness of the air, thick with the unspoken promise of a fresh start. I'm 34 years old and have spent years perfecting the art of blending into the background. Each day, I slip out of bed with quiet precision, careful not to disturb Bianca, my wife, who sprawls across the mattress like royalty. In many ways, she is, at least within the structure of our family. Downstairs, I dress in a simple pair of jeans and a t-shirt, a stark contrast to the old-money Charleston aristocracy. Somehow, I've managed to carve a place within the Sinclair family. They're the type to build legacies, the gatekeepers of privilege. And then there's me, just a man who walked into their world with nothing but a silent presence and an apron tied around his waist. Each morning, my destination is my coffee shop, a cozy little place tucked in a quiet corner downtown. With its exposed brick walls and the soft, warm glow of lights, it welcomes both tourists and locals. The regulars see me as nothing more than a guy behind the counter, steaming milk, wiping tables, scribbling daily specials on a chalkboard. They assume that this shop is my whole world, that there's nothing more to me. Bianca's father, Gregory Sinclair, certainly believes so. To him, I'm just a coffee guy. And when he's in a particularly charitable mood, which is rare, he mutters that title with a layer of disdain, his voice heavy with disapproval. Gregory is a real estate mogul, a man who builds skyscrapers with a snap of his fingers and buys loyalty as easily as breathing. To him, I'm just another stray his daughter brought home, a man he tolerates, but never respects. Bianca chose to keep her last name. It never bothered me. Not really. I've played this role for years, quiet, simple, unobtrusive. It makes life easier. People don't ask questions. They don't dig deeper. Gregory has never wondered why I never complain about finances, or how I managed to keep the shop running without ever asking him for favors. Bianca has never questioned the late-night phone calls I take in my upstairs office, or the mysterious errands that stretch for hours. They see what they want to see, a man who works with his hands, stays in his lane, and doesn't disturb the fragile balance of their world. And I let them. I serve their lattes, nod at their small talk, and keep my secrets locked tight. Because the truth is, I'm not lying. Not entirely. The coffee shop is real. I love the rich scent of freshly ground beans, the rhythmic hiss of the steamer, the way people relax with that first sip. This place is mine, a small piece of something I built from the ground up, but it's not the whole story. Not by a long shot. I own things, big things, businesses, properties, accounts, things that would leave them speechless if they ever found out. But I don't flaunt it. My car is a beat-up old thing I park out back when no one cares. The real ones, the luxury models, are registered under a shell company and locked away in a private garage across town. My assistant, Tara, an incredibly sharp woman, handles meetings with investors, bankers, and CEOs, the kinds of people who don't see my face unless I choose to show it. I've built a system, a rhythm that works. No one suspects a thing. Why would they? To them, I'm just Cole, the man who married up, the one they pat on the head and dismiss. Gregory is too caught up in his millions to notice the way I watch him, how I listen carefully when he brags about his latest deal. Bianca is too preoccupied with charity events and designer gowns to question the documents I sign long after she's asleep. They underestimate me, and that's exactly how I want it. For now, this morning, as I unlock the shop, silence greets me. I flick on the lights, start the grinder, and let muscle memory take over. The first customer is a familiar face, an older gentleman who likes his coffee black and his newspaper crisp. He gives me a brief nod, mutters something about the weather, and I nod back. It's simple, this life I created. Comfortable. But as I wipe down the counter, I remind myself that this is just a mask. And masks have a way of slipping. I can't shake the thoughts of last night. Another evening at the Sinclair estate. Another round of Gregory's subtle but sharp jabs. "How's the coffee business, Cole?" he asked, swirling his whiskey, amusement curling at the corners of his mouth. The people around the dinner table chuckled in unison, entertained by the show. Underneath the table, Bianca's fingers tightened around mine, a silent plea to let it slide. So I did. I met Gregory's gaze with an easy smile, never giving them the satisfaction of a reaction. They don't know. They have no idea. One day, they'll see. One day, I'll step out from behind the counter and show the world exactly who I am. But not yet. For now, I pour another cup of coffee, letting the peaceful hum of the morning wrap around me and keep my secrets close. The game is still mine to play. This morning, I walk onto the sidewalk, my boots striking the pavement as I adjust my jacket. It's nothing extravagant, just a gray blazer over a crisp white shirt, but it's enough. Ahead, a building made of gleaming glass and steel stands tall. It's the kind of place Gregory Sinclair would walk into without a second thought. But today, he's coming to see me, and he has no clue what's in store. I push open the heavy doors and step into the sleek, polished interior, the air sharp and clean. Behind the reception desk, Emma, my no-nonsense assistant, barely looks up. Her dark hair is pulled tightly into a severe knot, her voice smooth and professional. "Good morning, Mr. Mercer." I nod. "Morning." Without missing a beat, I keep walking, passing her. On the wall behind her, in sleek brushed steel, my name is clearly displayed. Cole Mercer, CEO. Most people who pass through here never make the connection between the man in the coffee shop apron and the name on the wall. That's exactly how I've kept it, until now. I settle into my office, a space framed by dark wood, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Charleston as the city stirs to life. A few minutes later, Emma's voice crackles through the intercom. "Mr. Sinclair is here." I lean back in my chair, steepling my fingers. "Send him in." The door swings open, and there he is, Gregory Sinclair, storming inside like he owns the place. His face is flushed, his tie slightly askew, but beneath the anger, I can sense something else. Panic. The mighty king's crown is slipping. "I need to speak with your director," he barks, not even bothering to look at me. His eyes scan the room as if expecting someone else. Emma's voice remains calm, unfazed. "Do you have an appointment with Mr. Mercer?" Gregory stiffens, his head jerking toward her, confusion creasing his features. "Mercer?" he repeats, as though the name tastes bitter on his tongue. "Yes," she confirms, her tone smooth. "Mr. Cole Mercer." She steps out, closing the door behind her. Then silence. Gregory turns slowly toward me, as if moving through thick mud. And that's when I see it. The exact moment his world begins to crumble. His face goes pale, drained of color, and his mouth opens, but no words come out. I rise effortlessly, walking around the desk with the stack of documents in my hand. "The coffee guy," he mutters, his voice thin and brittle, cracking like ice under pressure. I stop, meeting his gaze. "Owner," I correct him, my tone steady. "And this coffee guy just rejected your emergency loan request." I tap the stack of papers on the glass table, the bold red, "Denied," stamped glaring back at him like a death sentence. His jaw tightens, but he stands there, motionless, silent, just staring at me as if I materialized from the walls. Some ghost from his past come to haunt him. I've waited for this moment for years. Years of his condescending remarks, his smirks, his endless jabs about cappuccinos and wiping down tables. And now, here we are, the barista and the business mogul. Only this time, I'm the one holding the power. "Cole," he finally says, his tone shifting, testing the waters. "You don't understand what's at stake here." I tilt my head, leaning against the desk with my arms crossed. "Oh, I understand plenty." I reply, calm and measured. "I understand your Midtown project is on the brink of collapse. I understand your investors are pulling out and you're running out of options. And I understand that my bank is the only thing standing between you and a very public disaster." His expression hardens. But beneath the bravado, I see it, that flicker of fear, raw and undeniable. "You can't do this," he says, stepping forward, his voice urgent. "We're family." A sharp, cold laugh escapes me, cutting through the air. "Family?" I echo, letting the word hang between us. Family doesn't humiliate me in front of a room full of strangers. Family doesn't treat me like some stray Bianca drag home. You never once saw me, Gregory. Not really. and now you're paying the price. He blinks, and I watch the realization set in. He's not used to being on this side of the table. "What do you want?" he asks, his voice lower now, tinged with desperation. "An apology? Money? Just tell me." I shake my head slowly, deliberately. "I don't want anything from you." I say, "I already have everything I need." I gesture around the office. The contracts, the life I built while he was too busy mocking me. This isn't about payback, Gregory. It's about respect. And you have nothing left to offer. He looks down at the rejected loan papers, his hands flexing at his sides as if he wants to rip them to pieces. Destroy the reality staring back at him. But he can't. "You're destroying me," he whispers. I exhale, shaking my head. "No, Gregory. You did that yourself. I just stopped cleaning up your mess." Turning away, I return to my chair, letting the silence settle between us. For years, he towered over everyone, casting shadows, believing he was untouchable. And now, right before my eyes, he's shrinking. "You have 24 hours to find another lifeline," I inform him, picking up my pen like it's just another ordinary day. "Eastbridge is finished with you." At first, he doesn't move. He just stands there, as if trying to comprehend what just happened. Then finally, he turns and walks out, his steps slow and burdened. The door clicks shut behind him. I lean back in my chair and breathe.